I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? This is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, places of your heart. There's a lot of people that make it to.
Scottie Scheffler just revealed his plans for 2026, and the reaction across the golf world was instant. What sounded like a routine update quickly turned into something much bigger, because what Scheffler hinted at could change how the best players approach the game. After a dominant run, he's made it clear he's only getting started, and the real meaning behind his 2026 outlook might surprise you. Let's get into the details. Career Grand Slam. Scheffler's 2026 odds and strategic focus. As Scottie Scheffler heads into the 2026 season, the narrative around his ambition to complete the career Grand Slam has shifted from conjecture to measurable probability. According to recent odds released by bookmakers, Scheffler is priced at 7-2 to secure a US Open victory next year, the one remaining major he needs to complete the set. That price reflects a serious market perception that he is not just a contender, but a frontrunner in the 2026 major calendar.
Getting started on tour, playing professional golf, I didn't really know what to expect. I just kind of went about it and just trusting the Lord and having faith and working as hard as I could. And for me, I feel like I'm learning constantly. I feel like I'm just getting a little bit better each day. And
the statistical context is important. In 2025, Scheffler secured 2 major titles, the PGA Championship and the Open, and dominated the PGA Tour schedule with multiple victories, ultimately being named PGA Tour Player of the Year for the 4th consecutive season. His career trajectory places him in elite company, statistically comparable to the greats who have pursued the golf Grand Slam. From a strategic standpoint, achieving the Grand Slam would require adjustments in peak preparation for the US Open's typically penal setups. Analysts point out that his precision ball striking and putting consistency, already elite, will need further refinement to navigate the mix of layout and weather challenges typical of US Open venues. The 2026 run will thus be as much about marginal performance gains as it is about raw talent. More to give. Scheffler's own warning to the field. One of the most discussed sentiments from Scheffler at the close of the 2025 season was his own declaration that he believes he still has more room to grow, a statement taken seriously given his dominance. In a recent player interview breakdown available from media coverage late in 2025, Scheffler conveyed his conviction that "I can improve in 2026, signaling to rivals that his current performance plateau is not his ceiling.
This is not the be-all, end-all. This is not the most important thing in my life, and that's why I wrestle with why is this so important to me, because I would much rather be a great father than I would be a great golfer. That at the end of the day, that
This kind of self-assessment is notable because elite athletes often frame improvement in terms of specific gains, e.g., technique, mental fortitude, rather than broad statements. Scheffler's comment suggests an ongoing analytical approach to his game, one that is constantly examining small performance vectors. Given that he already posted multiple wins, including 2 majors in 2025, this suggests a shift from consolidation of excellence to targeted enhancement. In practical terms, insiders and analysts believe this could mean deeper focus on areas like short game precision and course management under variable conditions. His comment also reverberates through the larger competitive landscape. Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Victor Hovland, and others are already positioning themselves for response, interpreting Scheffler's confidence as both challenge and statement of intent ahead of the new season. Equipment evolution. First major driver change in year 1 of the few tangible areas of evolution in Scheffler's game going into 2026 is his equipment, particularly his driver. In 2025, he made what many industry observers described as his first major driver switch in 2 years, opting to put a new tailor-made Q4D model into play. This decision caught the attention of equipment analysts because Scheffler has historically been conservative with gear changes, preferring consistency over novelty, especially when performing at peak levels.
Hole ones are lucky. I do remember, I think I 3-putted 18 and number 1, and the pin was back left on number 2, the par 3, and I wanted to hit a cut 4-iron in there. And my sister, I think, knew that I was mad, and I wanted to somehow hit it to a foot at a pin that he couldn't really chase after. And she's like, just hit the 5, the middle of the green's fine. I hit this big draw 5 and ended up getting back there and going in. And
the timing of the switch is strategic. New drivers hitting the USGA's 2026 conforming list, including several iterations of the Qui 4D series, represent a broader equipment cycle shift across the professional game. Manufacturers like TaylorMade, Callaway, and Cobra are pushing innovations designed to balance distance, forgiveness, and stability, and top players are evaluating which models best suit increasingly demanding course setups. For Scheffler, the driver switch is less about renovation and more about optimization. Golf insiders note that marginal gains achieved by refined launch conditions or slight increases in forgiveness can translate into measurable scoring advantages in elite fields. As such, this equipment change should be interpreted as a calculated performance tool, one that may subtly influence his competitive edge, particularly on long par 4s and challenging wind-affected layouts. New sponsorships, commercial growth, and brand strategy. Beyond performance metrics and competitive goals, Scheffler's off-course developments are also shaping his 2026 profile. Most recently, he confirmed a new sponsorship deal with Huntington Bank, which will be prominently featured on his golf bag throughout the upcoming PGA Tour season. This partnership is part of a broader trend of world-class athletes integrating financial services brands into their commercial portfolios, bringing additional visibility and strategic alignment outside of mere equipment sponsorship.
We all start even par, and the tournament starts on Thursday. That's pretty much all that matters. And in terms of links golf, I love the style of golf. I think it's a ton of fun. I think you have to be creative.
Such commercial shifts reflect Scheffler's increasing marketability, a consequence both of his on-course success and his personal brand positioning. Sponsors seek athletes whose visibility and appeal extend beyond core sport audiences, and Scheffler's steady performance trajectory, including 6 PGA Tour wins in 2025 and multiple major titles, has elevated him into that category. For the golf ecosystem, these deals have ripple effects. They influence tour economics, fan engagement metrics, and even player priorities in scheduling and media commitments. In Scheffler's case, his growing roster of partners suggests a balancing act between competitive preparation and expanded responsibilities as a global ambassador for the sport. PGA Tour 2026 Format Shifts. What it means for Scheffler. The PGA Tour's 2026 schedule and competitive format are shaping up to mark a transitional year in professional golf, with changes that could have strategic implications for top players like Scottie Scheffler. The PGA Tour recently announced the 2026 FedEx Cup regular season schedule, featuring 35 official events, as it celebrates the 20th anniversary of the FedEx Cup era. This announcement underscores the tour's continued evolution of structure and pacing in its flagship season.
Congrats on being number one, Scotty. 11 more years to go. 11 more years to go. This is my 8th tournament win now out here.
One of the most discussed alterations is the end of the staggered starting strokes format at the season-ending Tour Championship. Previously, leaders like Scheffler would begin with a strokes advantage going into the event. Under the revised format, all competitors begin at even par, placing greater emphasis on performance over 4 rounds without pre-assigned scoring advantages. This shift changes the calculus of late-season strategy for elite players. For Scheffler, who has thrived under both pressure and format nuances, these changes present both risk and opportunity. A neutral starting point at the Tour Championship may increase volatility among competitors, yet it also rewards consistent, high-level play throughout the tournament. With his history of strong scoring and adaptability, Scheffler's approach to pacing the season, peaking at key moments, and managing fatigue will be critical in navigating 2026's recalibrated landscape. Analysts will be watching how top contenders adjust their schedules and preparations in response to these structural shifts. Breakouts and contenders. The 2026 competitive field around Scheffler. As the 2026 PGA Tour season approaches, attention is focused not only on Scottie Scheffler's ambitions, but also on the growing group of players expected to challenge him. Media coverage of projected breakout stars highlights the increasing depth of talent across the tour, with established contenders looking to elevate their major performances and emerging players ready to disrupt the current hierarchy.
We're in 20th place or whatever going into Sunday at the Masters. Tiger's won 5 Masters. He's got no chance of winning the tournament. And we showed up on the first hole, and I was watching him read his putt, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Rory McIlroy remains a central figure, with his recent achievements keeping him firmly in major championship conversations. Alongside other powerful ball strikers and strategic thinkers, the 2026 field is shaping up to be one of the most competitive in years. Each rival brings strengths, distance, precision, consistency under pressure that could test even Scheffler's dominance. Sustained success in golf rarely happens in isolation. A deeper, more diverse field may force Scheffler to continually refine tactics, particularly at major venues where adaptability is rewarded. Analysts and fans alike will be closely watching player matchups, course fits, and rising star progress throughout the season. Off-course influence, Scheffler's 2026 initiatives and legacy building. While on-course performance remains central to his story, Scottie Scheffler's expanding off-course initiatives are also shaping his 2026 profile. One notable example is his launch of a junior golf tour designed to broaden access for young players aged 6 to 12, offering structured and affordable competition to help develop emerging talent and lower traditional barriers to entry. Scheffler's involvement in youth programs reflects a wider trend among elite athletes toward legacy building beyond results alone. By investing in the game's future, he is positioning himself not only as a dominant competitor, but also as a steward of golf's long-term growth.
It feels like you work your whole life to celebrate winning a tournament for like a few minutes. It only lasts a few minutes, that kind of euphoric feeling. And like to win the Byron Nelson Championship at home, I literally worked my entire life to become good at golf, to have an opportunity to win that tournament.
Commercially, Scheffler's visibility continues to rise through high-profile partnerships, including a new sponsorship with Huntington National Bank that will feature on his equipment in 2026. These collaborations highlight his value as both an athlete and a global brand ambassador. Together, his competitive success and off-course commitments reinforce his growing influence across golf's culture, business, and future direction. Before you go, remember, Scheffler's revelation is just the beginning. What he's planning for 2026 doesn't just affect his game, it could shift the entire balance of power on the PGA Tour. The preparation, the confidence, the message he just sent to the rest of the field, it's all building toward a season that might redefine what dominance looks like. If you want to follow every development, the reactions, the strategy changes, and whether Scheffler really can transform the game next year, make sure you're locked in. Because when 2026 tees off, everything we thought we knew about the PGA Tour could change overnight.